going back to a previous topic that we were talking about, but it fits into right now about the skill set. There's a reason why we can't have those hard conversations, right? Or even like, a conversation of different opinions, even politically, right? Which it really shouldn't be that aggressive. It should be, I believe that my party or this leader is better equipped to run the nation, or my local government for XYZ reason, right? And you can, talk about what you think is true and what you think is true, and find the actual truth somewhere in between, But one of the skills that we're losing is the ability to have a conversation, an honest conversation with each other that isn't filled with emotion, that isn't polarized.
Yeah.
And that's the real big issue, is that we're everything around us is telling us that we're in a gang, right? And we're the Republican gang, or the Democratic gang, or I believe in abortion, or I believe in whatever, right? Free healthcare. Pick your battle, or pick your moral topic now, because now everything is morality, right? Everything is, well, if you don't believe in this, then you're a terrible person and I hate you, right? Which shouldn't be the case, because when you're running a country, you have to make unbiased opinions. You have to think what's best for the country. How do I fix, the economy, right? And you can't really do that when all you have is all these emotions involved, right? So I think that our skill of just having a conversation with a complete stranger, even whatever the topic is, we're just disassociating ourselves from our humanity, right? From our ability, from community. We're so scared to talk to people now. Like I have a lot of single friends, and I'm just like, are you gonna be single forever or what, right? And I feel, right? I've asked this before. I'm like, are you just afraid to talk to, women, or like what's going on? And they're like, no, I just don't want the problems associated with them. Like, I don't know. I think you're kind of like that's a defense mechanism. I feel like that's what you're telling yourself, and I'm always telling them, not just for that, but anything, just talk to people, because you don't know what opportunity might arise. You don't know if they might become your best friend a year from now. You don't know if, they could be your boss the day of tomorrow, or whatever, just have a nice conversation with individuals, strangers that you don't know. And it's really hard for people to do that now.
That was your birthday. How'd we relate? Like, because you had two different groups of guys there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You were friends, and then you had us. And we just made things super awkward, right? Right off the bat.
You did?
Yeah, no, like we just blurted out like how we would normally be with each other. And they might have felt awkward at first, but it's like, hey, it's already out there, and by the end of it, we were all biffles.
Yeah, yeah. And it's honestly the way you should be. You know what I mean?
Talking.
Yeah, it's just having fun, be yourself, be honest, be respectful, obviously, but,
We all know that.
That's yeah.
I'll have to bleep that out. I'm the only one that stayed up, so whatever. I mean, I know what I know what
Why
I am.
are you gay?
I know what I am not.
Who said I am gay? You are gay.
Oh man.
Yeah, don't be overly sensitive, people. It's fine.
And
It's
leave
funny.
your anger out
It's
of it.
funny.
Jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think people are just drawn to drama. It's why gossip is such a thing. People love drama. People love controversy. I was talking to Samuel on the phone yesterday, and he was telling me, he made this post on Facebook announcing, his dad had just passed away, and obviously people sent their prayers and condolences and stuff, and even prior to that, when his in-law passed away, same thing. But there's this one guy who obviously must have seen all that, but said nothing. But then when Samuel put something out that there's a little more politically charged, now he has something to say. But all the other stuff, Just where's our humanity? Like, you clearly saw the dude went through something, yet you couldn't anything. Send him a message. Send him, hey man, how you doing? Whatever. But then because something has to do with politics and it disagrees with what that guy's belief was, he ends up sending Samuel this long message, and then Samuel was like, "You don't do that to Samuel because he will out judo you. He will.
Word judo.
Challenge accepted.
The challenge accepted. I'm like, you don't do that to Gandalf, man. You just don't want to do that to Gandalf. But I share that because I think a lot of people are drawn to controversy and drama, and when they see you winning in life, they won't say anything. But the moment something is not going well, then they'll have their opinions. Then it's like,
Kick you when you're down.
But
Kick you
also,
while you're down.
if this person responds to political posts or likes it, or it's just going to show him more. So it's very possible he didn't even see Samuel's previous post, and the algorithm's just showing him things that.
just politics.
Yeah, and that's the
That would
dangers
be-
of.
Is this on Facebook or?
I think it was
Yeah,
Facebook.
Facebook is weird with that, and that's
interesting.
one of the AI things that they're doing behind. The
But
scenes. It's just. Ugh.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. And I love that you share that, because it's perception will create your reality. So this guy's perception through his feed, his feed. What are you being fed?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
that's exactly why they call it that. They're purposely feeding you
Here,
what
piggy.
you're consuming, what you're watching.
Come to the trough.
Yeah, yeah,
damn. I just
This is all the slop.
Yep.
Yep.
yep,
Eat it up.
yep.
damn. Come here, eat it.
Eat it up, you little pig.
Oink oink, boy. But that's it, and yeah, I think that it's people are just drawn to controversy and drama. That's why the news is.
I stopped watching it a long
Oh
time
yeah,
ago.
I haven't watched the news
Cannot tolerate it whatsoever.
I don't even know how long.
I've always wondered why that is. Like, is your life really that boring, or did you grow up with a lot of emotional combat in the air that now that you're an adult, you don't know how to live without it? Like most people, in my opinion, in my thought process, you would want peace. You would want mental peace. You don't want to be at ends with the world and everyone in it. I don't understand that, because we always need each other. We always need people. You'll always need your boss. You'll always need the person to fix your car. You'll always need a friend, whatever. So why is it that some people just can't live without controversy? They can't live without the drama. They always find drama. Mm-hmm. Drama always finds them
It's excitement.
somehow.
I
Yeah.
think.
It's what?
It's really excitement. Because
Excitement?
even on the news, if all you saw were wholesome stories, like this person volunteered at the homeless shelter, you're like, okay, good for
Boring.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
So why are we watching this?
Huge fire breaks out. Whoa.
Yeah. By the way, have you heard about the fires in California, LA?
Did you hear about that drone that crashed in that super scooper airplane? The one that it literally lands on the ocean, sucks up like 16,000, I don't know, gallons of water. There was a drone that crashed into it, which grounded the plane.
Oh, it sucks.
So that water was not able to get to the fire.
Oh man.
Oh.
That's rough.
Someone was like someone was flying a drone or something and just.
So was it an accident or was it sabotage?
No, I think they were like filming the
Oh, okay.
whatever.
Oh, the process.
Or maybe all the smoke and all that. It's actually really cool if you see how that plane lands on water, takes all this water on, and is still able to take off.
That's
from the
wild.
water. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Google that later.
Yeah.
Super scooper, you said?
I think they call it the super. It's this big yellow
That's
plane.
cool.
Yeah. I figured you'd be into it.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
The fires.
it's
wild.
unfortunate. And I saw something, at least in the tech world, where this app that tracks like forest fires became #1 most downloaded, like overnight. for obviously due to
Yeah,
fires
I mean,
out there.
that's
I also
massive.
found it interesting that Biden pledged to, or his administration pledged to cover like 100% of um, like the damage and all that stuff for the first 180 days. Like that's half a year, and I just find it interesting because you would think, and I'm not saying they don't need it, they need it, but you would also think that with everything that happened in with that hurricane that was leveling, what was it, Tennessee or North Carolina? What?
It was the coast there, so
Yeah,
it was South
and
Carolina,
and all
North
the
Carolina.
that's what it is, South
Yeah.
Carolina, and all the damage that was there, and they got like 750,
Yeah.
that they had to request.
Or Hawaii.
Or
Or
Hawaii,
Hawaii,
that was another
yeah.
huge one, and I'm like, it's interesting that you have a bunch of rich communities that are affected in this area, and now you're pledging
Well,
100% of, and I know it's not only the rich communities, but I just find it a little strange.
in my mind, it could have something to do with, Donald Trump also entering. I wonder if they're talking because he's literally getting inaugurated in 9 days, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the
Or
20th.
10 days, whatever. It's, yeah. We have to take care of the people, and, every time I see something like that, I'm like, is this the wrath of God? Hurricanes are more and more common.
I
Forest
would be
fires-
lying if I didn't entertain that idea because I think there's part of it, right? I mean, there was a video or a picture of like the Hollywood sign like in flames or something like that, and I'm like, ooh, did he do that?
I see what you did there. You know what else is interesting? Let's put our tinfoil hats on. I want to come back to that.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I want to come back to that specific question. Is that the wrath of God? So let me forget that. But isn't it interesting how all the people that are that were like named on like the Diddy stuff are all fleeing to Europe?
Yeah.
And they're all just like, oh, I can't stand the fact that Trump's coming in office. I'm going to go to Europe now. And like Ellen DeGeneres, they're coming out with a video. She used to have Diddy a lot on the show apparently, and like there's videos of Diddy like on air threatening her, and like, oh, don't make me bring the tapes out, or I don't know, something crazy to that effect. And I'm just like, that is so weird. And then how like J-Lo was involved with some of these things, and
Not J-Lo.
yeah,
No.
and I'm just like, I
Selena?
already thought that Hollywood was a cesspool of demonic trash, but it just solidifies that all the people that make it big, all the people that get like the presidential awards, and all that stuff that show up at the White House, they've all made a pact, with the devil. They're working for the other team, and it's just scary, that everything that they're trying to feed us, is to distract us from God, or to pull us away, or to make us think that God is not even real,
I've
Yeah,
kind
but
of noticed the ones who like stand for God are, I wouldn't exactly say shunned, but not
They're like
They're
black,
definitely
they're,
not
like,
as
they're
big.
like blacklisted,
like Mel Gibson,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about him for a while.
Yeah. And don't
Mark
get me wrong, the
Wahlberg.
guy's not perfect, but yeah,
Mark Wahlberg.
yeah.
Who am I thinking? Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt's a
Chris
good
Pratt,
one.
I really like
Yeah.
for the way he stands up for like what
Yeah.
his beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I love that. I think we've talked about it before. He was on like the Kids Awards
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
to
yeah.
that effect, and he gave a very good speech. Like,
He's like,
tips.
Jesus
for the
is
next-
real,
Yeah,
right?
he was like, you have a soul, take care of it. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
ooh,
love that.
get him, get him.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah, yeah, I love that very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's so we all know about Angel Studios, obviously.
Yes.
I went to go see
Homestead?
Homestead.
I want to watch
Good
that one.
movie. right?
Homestead.
Apparently, there's also a series on the network, which
heard,
I haven't watched, but I plan to. Point of story is the main one of the main actors there. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. The guy with the hat on, the cowboy hat in the main preview.
I'm
No?
sure. Okay, I'm not
No?
sure.
Okay. Anyways, the point is, he talks about how before he was on Angel Studios, he was obviously he's an actor. He was in Hollywood, all this stuff. He's Christian and he's a known Christian, and he talks about how he couldn't really get ahead, but he found a niche as playing like the bad guy.
Oh, he's got white hair.
Yes,
Yeah, I know
that's
exactly
him.
what you're talking
Yes.
about.
That's
He's always
him.
like a villain,
Yes,
kind of. Yeah,
yes. And he talks about how he was always they wanted to give him all the bad guy roles, you know, and but yeah, perfect example. He couldn't get ahead because he was Christian, and
He'd be a good villain anywhere, though.
he
like
does
James Bond.
he does portray a
yeah.
good
He
villain.
does. Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry,
and then
buddy, it's
other
your face. I can't help it. Your face is just
Yeah.
it says villain.
He's got those blue eyes, I think.
yeah, the
or-
piercing blue
Those
eyes.
beautiful blue eyes. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get lost like it's deep ocean when you look at it. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Couldn't hurt anyone.
He could hurt.
Not with those baby blues.
Not those baby blues, baby. Yeah, and a lot of actors always come out and say how they don't want to drink the golden juice or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's why it's so. I think for me, it's such a wholesome feeling when guys, men and women, who have a platform, who have a voice that people look up to, and they use it to glorify God, to glorify the kingdom. And God bless them, man, because that is an
Amen.
uphill battle.
It is.
Because this is they are literally going against the tide.
Yeah. Yep. That's
And
our
it-
charge. That's what God charges to do.
Right. And if you think about it, that's their livelihood. That is their career they're putting on the line when they say certain things. Like you got to, regardless of what job you have, there's a certain game you got to play. There's a certain language that you got to speak. And if you are going against the tide, you are looked at differently. You're probably going to be passed up for a promotion. You know what I mean? Like you put on an image that the general public does not like, and you will feel it.
Yep. No doubt.
And I mean, look what we're doing here. Like, that's kind of what's happening. I mean, it is what's happening, right? We're giving a voice to men that believe what real men should be. When the world is telling men that, hey, it's okay to act like a woman and do all these things, and like we were at Costco a couple weeks ago, and we were checking out, and this I don't even know if it was a lady or if it was a dude. My first assumption was it was a dude, kind of stocky built, kind of straight beard, hairy arms, and I'm just like, oh, thanks, bro. Like, because he was packing our stuff. I was like, oh, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. And he looks at me, rolls his eyes, and I was like, what? And then I noticed his fingernails were super long and they were pink, and he was wearing high heels, and I was like, huh? And then I think
Did you just
he hit-
misgender me, bro?
I think he had boobs.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if it was a man becoming a woman or a woman becoming a man, but they kind of embraced both genders and identities. And usually you can tell, but this one I could not, because I was just confused. I'm like, what? Now, I feel wrong not wrong, but I feel bad for like, okay, sure, sorry, bro. But I'm like, dude, you dress like a dude, but
Yeah.
you also dress like a chick, and I'm not really sure. So how can you get mad at me when you're the confusing one?
Yeah.
I
You're the
would've-
confused one.
I would have just said thank you.
Right,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? I get that. Like, now you're just supposed to say, that's what Carlene said. You should just say thank you. I'm like, sure, but I mean, I'm not I mean, sure, I could be better about it, but that's where my issue's starting to develop. Where it's like, why do I have to change me because you choose to address yourself as something that I don't agree with?
Yeah.
If you choose that, sure, you're a grown adult, make your decisions. But to make me conform to your beliefs and address you how you want to be addressed, even though it goes against what I believe,
Yeah.
now we're having an issue.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. Freedom, there's a quote that says, freedom ends where you step on other people's liberties. I'm butchering it, but it's something to that effect. So, respect all people. That's what the Bible says. You know, love the brotherhood, love your brothers and sisters in Christ. So I do believe that we should respect everyone, right? But the fact that confused people, right? And I think it's funny that you called this individual, you're the confusing one, right? Because it's true. Confused individuals want everyone to partake in their fantasy, you know, and they want us to be part of their body dysmorphia, you know, and they want to feel like the world agrees that they are what they chose, quote unquote, to be. And I disagree with that. There's no reason why you should feel like you have to tiptoe around this other person's fragile, you know, self-image. And there's no reason why you should be forced to go along with that, you know, and affirm what they believe in, you know. Yeah. I think that that's a big issue when it comes to free speech as well. You know, like you should be able to say whatever you want to say, right? And that other individual can also say whatever they want to say, but there has to be respect.
Right.
And it's not like you were trying to be disrespectful. In fact, you were trying to say thank you, you know, show appreciation. But
Yeah, I could see where, okay, I could have just said thank you, you know, and I get that. Sure, I can work on that and be better, whatever.
it probably just
Sure.
came out of your mouth, though. Like you probably weren't even
Exactly. I was just
thinking-
trying to speak.
Like that's how
Call
you
my
speak,
wife, bro.
Yeah. Like that's how you speak, and that's because I know you. You were just like, thanks, bro. You know,
Yeah,
thank you. Thanks, bro.
that's just-
you know, whatever. It just came out.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And like now I gotta
Now, yeah.
really be so cognizant about this because
Thanks, but
Brr.
you.
Bruh.
Thank you.
Just if you're unsure, just say thank you. And
But
I
you know
have to
that-
do training on this every
Oh,
year.
yeah, yeah.
'cause obviously, corporate culture is really also my rule has always been just treat everyone with respect. You know, and
Right.
it's always worked out.
Right. And I tried to, right? I mean, I you know, when I realized that this was the situation, I was like, oh, like, what do I say now? Like, do I say sorry? Or I'm like, then she smashed my bread. I was like, okay, we'll call it even.
She looked directly into your eyes and just.
Yeah, I was like, she smashed my bread. She put it on the bottom and then stacked stuff. I was like, all right,
This was at Costco,
yeah.
and they were doing the checkout.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The Mount Prospect location, or the Shamrock location.
You know where you
don't
are. You know where you are. You know what you did to my bread.
I probably would have said, "Can you go and grab another one of these? This one's kind of spoiled."
Smush.
You know, I just lost thinking. Like I was probably not in the right headspace to try to speak anything clearly because I was confused, and then I got pissed. Then it's like, you know, confusion and that like
Doesn't go well.
doesn't go well, and I'm like,
That's
you
how
know,
it
I
happens,
just
though. The retaliation and all that, and then it just escalates from there. It's-
No, you probably made the right decision. Just say, you know what? I'm gonna walk away.
I wanted pita bread anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
was
take
gonna
my
make these
smushed bread and
tortillas.
walk away.
I wanted smushed bread. Joke's on you. You
Show
saved-
them.
You
I'll
should-
just use this for taco night.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, God.
No, but in a situation like that, right, it goes into raising boys, think right instead of mending men.
Oh,
Because you could have used that as an opportunity, like if Lana was older, to teach her about like, this is what I did wrong, and this is how I should have handled that situation if you were there to like experience that. You know, or if you had like a teenage boy or something that like that would be like, okay, I was in the wrong.
it's a teaching moment.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that as a society, we're more in the mending phase right now as a whole, because there's been so much damage that has been done. And we're mending a bit, but then I'm scared we're also going to destroy more. So I don't know. I think it really falls on parents to,
But before you can mend, like truly mend,
it has to be broken.
it has to be right.
But the goal is to not have it be broken.
Right.
So then in order to mend, you have to say, okay, what broke it? And then you have to reverse it. Like the Japanese art of mending, you know, and making it, well, it has to be broken, but then, okay, how did it break? And that dictates how you mend it back together. This piece goes here, this piece goes there. But my goal in the future, God willing, we have children, is to never let it get to that broken phase. Because if it got to that broken phase, it means as a father, as a parent, I failed.
I think
To an extent.
yes,
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. Yeah, I'm like,
I
oh,
only
that's-
have so much, like,
Yeah.
I can't control everything.
Right.
But in the future, if I have a son or daughter who is disrespectful, that's on me.
Fair. Very fair.
Or if, kind of like if you have a kid who's not.
He's like, no, that's all Ashley.
No, or if you have a kid who's like not self-sufficient, that's on you. That's a direct consequence of decisions you made as a parent, which I know now applies a lot of pressure on like every decision I make when it comes to a child is very important, but it is.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And we go back to what style are you going to use, you know, for parenting, you know? Are you going to do everything for them? Or are you going to show them how to do it so that they can do it themselves?
Yeah.
Are you going to be the more silent type and just look back and make sure they don't die? Or are you going to be hovering over and saying, don't do this, don't do that?
You look at how God allows us to grow. I think He does kind of all of the above. There's times where He's gonna, you know, make you feel like, hey, it's okay, you got this. But then there's a lot of times where it's also just silent, because you also need to like marinate in that brokenness a little bit, so that you don't make that same mistake and get broken again.
There's a lesson to be learned.
There is.
That's how you gain spiritual maturity. Really, it's going through those motions, and I think that applies for a lot of things, whether it's mental maturity, emotional maturity, physical maturity.
So as we wrap, what are you guys most looking forward to in the next couple conversations that we're about to have, especially with building up boys versus mending men? We're gonna have a couple special guests on the show who is in this generation that is growing up in this next wave of men. So we're gonna hear from a really interesting, real perspective, not just all the speculating that we're, you know. It's been a while since we were young men, but it'll be nice
Speak
to get.
for yourself.
I still use my Rudolph and my Legos.
Did you not hear I just put together Legos? Like,
But it'll be great to get their perspective, and then we'll get Samuel's perspective, who's on the other end where he's mending these men, and in the
and
middle,
also different generation, right?
different generation, right?
It's very different from.
So it will be a really, really interesting. I think this is probably going to be a 6-7 part series, just because this is a big topic.
How old is this
How old is Josh?
young man?
23, I believe.
23?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always interested in speaking with younger men specifically because
Well, weren't you a youth pastor?
yes, I was many years ago. But it's interesting to see what they're like into. Like it sounds so strange saying it that way, but to see what their what the interests are, like what's pulling at their attention.
He works with high school freshmen.
Okay, so he
also.
knows all about
Like,
it then.
he's kind of like a leader, so
Yeah.
I was curious too, like what are the, keep hearing these terms like skibbity, and I'm like, what's
Skibbity
that
toilet.
mean?
Yeah. He's gonna be like, so what's lit nowadays?
Yeah. Alpha, Sigma.
Oh,
like,
bro.
There's so many
Greek
things.
alphabet now, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know
Riz.
what's like trending. And
Yeah, Riz.
Riz.
I'm like, that sounds like a cola. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a Sprite or a Coke or something.
Skibbity Riz. Yeah.
my niece, a couple months ago, she goes, "You're zesty," and I'm like, "What is that?"
Is that a good thing? No cat, bro?
This guy knows. So it'll be a great conversation. So we'll be sure to coordinate that. So when he's here, if you're free that weekend, it'll be cool for you to come here too, because that's obviously
Absolutely.
your background. We'll have that interview with him, and I got a couple other people in mind to really dive deeper into this transition between boyhood and manhood. Get all types of perspectives, both secular and biblical, and kind of see like where is this, right? We ended last year, 2024, with this idea of gathering the tools so that men can build what they're supposed to become, equipping men with tools. I think this is a great series to follow that up, because that's what we're trying to do. Restore manhood, rescue kids, rebuild families. So,
Sometimes men don't have the tools, and other men have to loan it to them.
yeah,
I'll save that for next time.
that's true. And you can have the tool, but you don't know how to use it.
Sounds about right.
And that's the beautiful thing about this. And, especially when you have a brotherhood like this, right? Everyone has a different background, different specialty, different tools and skill sets that they offer to this table. So when we are together offline when cameras aren't recording, conversations are just like this, and you're seeing the different knowledge and expertise being put into this pot, and then, hey, what do you need right now? You go in there and you take it and you use it. And it just keeps adding into the pot. And then you realize, like, wow, this is so much wisdom in this pot. Like, whatever problem, you should be able to figure it out within here. Because I think everyone comes from a solid foundation of, like, Jesus is in the center. And we continue to remind that for each other. And that's the beauty. The goal is to take these boys, build them up as men, who now can be part of groups with other men who have been built up. Because if you put a bunch of broken men together, it's not going to work.
Chaos.
But you put men who have solid foundations, could be broken, but they don't have to be perfect. But for the most part, they're mended.
New creatures in God.
Amen. That identity has been upgraded. That it
Take
becomes
over the
powerful.
world with that.
Oh, yeah. Amen. So with that,
Redwood out.
hey, I love it.
The
Boom,
OG.
boom. Yeah, bring it back.